Good evening, everybody. My name is Luther Davis. I'm a physics and astronomy teacher at Lakemoor High School. Welcome to another episode of Skylights. Well, I'm glad you're with me tonight, and I have a special guest coming up in just a moment. But let me introduce the guest in a special way. Last night, I had an opportunity to take my special guest on a walk, and I was looking up in the evening sky just after sunset, and I said, you know what? I know what I'm going to do the next episode of Skylights on. And it's actually just sitting right above my shoulder here. And this is the constellation Canis Major. Some of you guys might know the Latin words for Canis Major, the big dog. And the neat thing about the big dog is it's got the brightest nighttime sky star that there is. Yes, we all know that our sun is brighter, but Sirius is the brightest star that we can see, with the exception of our sun. Well, how can you find Sirius and Canis Major? Well, you go outside just after sunset, which is around 8 o'clock this time of the year, and you look up in the sky, and the first thing you might notice is way above to the west is a super bright star-like object, and we talked about this in the last episode, and that is the planet Venus, which is in the constellation Taurus right now. If you look to the left of Taurus, you will see Orion the hunter, and you'll have his belt. But if you continue even further to the left, you have another star that's not equally as bright as Venus. Venus is still super brighter, but this will be the brightest star of the sky a little bit south of west, and that is Sirius, the big dog star. Now, I know when you look at this, you're probably saying, what do you mean? That looks like a dog? Well, look, this planetarium software program actually gives an opportunity to show illustrations. So we got Dash again, my 6th grade-year-old son, who's going to be my assistant. And right now, he's going to pull up the illustration for Canis Major, the big dog. So he's pulling that up right now for us. And boom, there we have it. He'll zoom in just a little bit. And there you go, the big dog. But I know you're looking at this and you're saying, I still don't see a dog. But you know what? I have a special treat for you tonight. Yeah, the big dog is also my dog. Everybody, this is the TV debut of Blaze, my 6-month-old Australian Shepherd. Hi, Blaze. Yeah. And as a special note, during those times of the pandemic, my mom has nothing better to do but to make astronomy quilts. And I just got this week, so thanks, Mom. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. So Blaze is going to be our little guide right now to show you how you can make the constellation the big dog or Canis Major. Well, first of all, you got to start with the brightest star. Here is Sirius, the brightest star. Bam! Look at you, the big dog with Sirius. And then we have what I call the hip. This right here is Wezen. So I'm going to put Wezen right there. Yeah, good girl. Here you go. You're doing such a great job, Blaze. Woo! And then we have a back, I guess you could call it a leg or a hip. We have Aludra. So Aludra is going to sit right down there. And then you have a tail, Adhara. Now, it just so happens I got the two mixed up. Adhara, whoa, it's stuck on you really good, isn't it? So here is Adhara, and here is Aludra, and it kind of makes a triangle in the nighttime sky. But we have one more star that you can see quite easily with your eye, and that's way up here. Sometimes you can put it as the nose, or you can put it as the front paw, and she's maybe doing a shake. So here you have Canis Major, the big dog. You have Sirius, you have the front paw, and then there's a triangle of stars in the behind, and that gives you the opportunity to kind of make out the big dog in the sky. So let's all give Blaze a super big round of applause. Yeah! Good girl. Thank you so much, Blazy. Yay. Now, if you'd like to see that again, there's another way I can show you. We're going to pull up a little PowerPoint presentation for just a moment. And you can see already, these are the stars that I was referring to. If you can minimize the left screen there, that'd be awesome. So here we go. You can look back here. Dash, would you kind of scoot a little bit to the left, please? So we have up here in the sky, you have Sirius. We have the front paw area. Oh yeah, I got to figure out where to point. Right here, or you can say that's the tip of the nose. And then there's that triangle of stars down below. And those are typically the stars that you can see with your unaided eye. Now, let's learn a little bit more about this constellation and what it might look like. This is what it looks like without the star map. Can you pick out Canis Major? I sure hope you can. We had the help of a sky chart, a planetarium software program, and Blaze already. And this is what you can see with your unaided eye just after sunset. And yes, this guy right here is Sirius. Now, the star constellation also has some dimmer stars. If you're fortunate enough to live in an area that's a little bit darker sky, you can actually pick out a little bit more of a dog situation. And that dog situation has a head, it's got a whole front section, a belly, and a cute tail. But we typically just see the brighter stars from a light polluted area or near a city. And those are the stars that Blaze helped us point out earlier. If you want to see what it looks like in the bigger scope of things, you can see that we have Orion. Dash, could you scoot a little bit more to the left? We have Orion up here, and here's his belt. So his belt's going right across the sky. If you go to the left of Orion, way down below, you will see Sirius, and then you get the triangle of stars and his front paw or nose. Now, a little bit about the constellation, the greater dog, as it says in Latin, is one of the two dogs that follow the hunter Orion. Canis Minor is the second of the two dogs. In one myth, it's kind of neat if you think about it. It starts off with this dog called Lelaps. The dog was so fast, kind of like Blaze, that no one would ever be able to outrun it. However, one day he had a matchup with Temesian, the fox. And guess what? This fox could never be caught. So it was kind of a unique paradox. So when they went out to race and try to catch each other, what ended up happening, the fox could never get caught, and Lelaps could never catch the fox. Zeus came along, and he says, I'll settle this once and for all. And he turned them both to stone. And he put Lelaps up in the sky, and he put Temesian up in the sky as the little dog, as some myths say. Are you serious? Oh yeah, they're serious. Sirius is the brightest star, as I said earlier, in the nighttime sky. It's about 8.7 light years from Earth. So traveling at the speed of light, it takes 8.7 years for that light to get to us. It has almost more significance to ancient cultures than the constellation Canis Major itself. Check this out. Sirius, I am standing in front of you. The sun is up over here. Sirius is what's called a Class A spectral type star, and it's got a temperature of about 10,000 Kelvin at its surface, whereas our sun is only about 5,800 Kelvin. Therefore, our sun has this bit of a cooler yellowish color, whereas Sirius is bright whitish blue. It's absolutely spectacular when you look at it from Earth. And overall, because of the greater surface area and greater surface temperature, it's about 23 times more luminous than our sun. Super important was this constellation that in ancient times, the star was used as a marker, a time to harvest, a time to actually bring in the crops. And it was essentially a calendar timestamp for, hey, it is time to get things going here with our crop harvests. You also may have heard that Sirius is associated with the dog days. And that's because its name comes from Sirius, which means scorcher. In fact, Sirius is actually high in the daytime skies during the summer, and some people thought that summer was slightly responsible because of the added energy that Sirius would add to our sky. Are you serious? Check this out. I decided to do a few calculations to actually test that scenario. My astronomy students might recognize this when we did a little stuff with Mercury. But what I did is I calculated what is the actual wattage delivered to the surface of Earth by our sun. And you'll see that it's just about 1,400 watts per meter squared. Then I decided to do the same calculation with Sirius. Now, Sirius is 23 times the intensity of our sun, but it is so far away that essentially for every meter squared, you get about 104 billionths of a watt. That is over 13 billion times less energy delivered to the Earth from Sirius than what the sun provides. Trust me, the sun is the main body giving us energy, not Sirius. The Egyptians discovered that when Sirius rose just before dawn, the Nile would begin its yearly flood. This flooding of their fields represented the beginning of the new year. It was an event associated with the god Osiris's return from the dead, and it was essential to the Egyptian calendar. Furthermore, in Indian mythology, the stars of Canis Major formed a deer hunter. The Indians named the brightest star Tahaya, and essentially was the controller of all the rains and all the waters on Earth. But the deer hunter would hunt the stars in the present-day constellation Orion. The Polynesians thought another star near Taurus was actually a brighter star in the sky, and not Sirius. Sirius was so angry and convinced the gods to hurl the star Aldebaran at this other bright star, and it broke it apart, and it formed what we call the Pleiades cluster today. Sirius has a famous companion that's actually a double star. So you have what's called Sirius A, the star that we see easily with our eye, and you also have Sirius B. Sirius B alone is a white dwarf star. It's as big as Earth. However, it's as massive as our sun. That's very, very, very compact. This companion orbits Sirius once every 50 years. Sirius B is actually quite difficult to see with their naked eye, so you typically need a telescope of at least 8 inches in diameter. Here's a comparison of Sirius B and Earth side by side. Now, here's a comparison again of Sirius A with our sun, and you'll see that there's a black dot in here, way over here, and that is the size of Sirius B and our Earth. There's a couple of interesting deep sky objects inside Canis Major. There's this splendid open cluster M41, or Messier 41. It lies 4 degrees south of Sirius. It contains some 80 stars of 7th magnitude and fainter. Visible in binoculars, it is an impressive object with an 8-inch telescope. I'm going to go back to this image of Canis Major, and you can actually see M41 right here in this exposure. We also have another cluster called NGC 2362. It is a fainter open cluster containing several dozen stars. NGC 2362, IC 2177 is also known as the Seagull Nebula. It's a broad region of nebulosity associated with the broader area between Monoceros, the unicorn, and Canis Major. It spans about 4 by 1 moon diameters. The Seagull. And let's go ahead and end with one more here. We have what's commonly referred to as Thor's helmet, NGC 2359. It's a bright emission or reflection nebula here in this constellation. It's nicknamed the Duck Nebula, but I like calling it Thor's helmet. So, to wrap up, I want to invite my special guest back. Let me go grab her. Yeah. Hi, Blaze. Hi, little girl. You just want to minimize PowerPoint. Bring up there we go. So, I hope you learned a little bit about tonight the constellation Canis Major with the help of Blaze and your scientific and astronomical curiosities. You know what you can do? Maybe tonight, just after sunset, go out and take a look at this wonderful constellation and think of some of the science of Sirius. And as Blaze and I would always say, when it comes to the evening sky and skylights, remember to keep pointing up. Good girl. Watch this. We can give each other a high five.